So here we're going to do a little demo on how to tape a drywall joint. So here we have two pieces of drywall that meet on the stud. We have our drywall screws. Remember, they must be sunk. They have to be indented completely, otherwise they will stick up and you won't get the spackle and the tape to cover. So these are just dimpled so that they are hidden. Now we are going to be using drywall tape. This is not sticky. It is just paper tape. It has a crease down the middle so that you can use it for inside corners, but we can also use it on a flat seam like we have here. So you just want to cut your strips to length, from the floor up to the next seam or all the way up to the ceiling. So we have our piece ready. Now when it comes to tools, I like having several different size spackle blades on hand. Okay, so I have a smaller one that I will use to scoop up my joint compound and smear on the wall. This wider one I will use to press our tape into position. And then our final one will be for the final go over to make sure that we have a nice clean seam. So first thing I'm going to do is grab some joint compound. Okay, this one says dust control. I don't always buy that they are that accurate in their dust control, but we're gonna go in and I'm gonna use my smaller blade to scoop up some joint compound. So we're gonna throw it on the wall, and now we're gonna run it down the wall. We want it to fill both sides of this seam. So we want to create a bed. It doesn't have to be super thick, but it's got to be enough for it to stick to, for it to sit in. So we're going to go like this and fill a nice bed. You might have to get some more, and you're just going to run it from the floor to the top. Okay. This does not have to be super neat. This is your first coat. Okay. So don't worry if yours looks sloppy. Okay, I tend to be a little sloppy, but I'm very fussy about my final coat. Okay, so we're gonna go like this, and we've got a nice bed. Now you see this one side is a little thicker because that piece is set back a smidge. So we're just gonna move some of that joint compound over and kind of even it out. Okay, now that I have a bed for my tape, I am going to take my tape and simply lay it in. Now you can see where the other seam was going across the top. So here's the trick. Once you have it lined up and you know that it's going straight down, you take your other blade and you just go woo all the way down. And it's so easy and so fast. And now you have your tape into position. Now the next step is going to be to cover that tape. So you're going to take more joint compound and you're going to go over your tape. So you're sandwiching it between joint compound. Okay? Again, you want to have enough that the tape is covered on the edges. You don't want to see it coming through like that. You want it to be covered, slightly visible, but covered enough that it's not going to peel up or poke out. Remember, this is not taped with sticky adhesive. It's just buried underneath your joint compound. And you can wipe off excess as you go, trying to keep a nice, clean line with not too much excess. Now, if I was doing a wider joint, I could use this blade and I could go down that way. I prefer to save this for my very final coat, but for this coat, this was just fine. I will let this seam dry, I will sand it well, and then we'll put a second coat. And make sure that you subscribe, because all the content that I bring you is real, it's in the moment, it's DIY that's actually doable for homeowners. So hit that subscribe button, make sure that you follow our newsletter where we have more content and I go into deeper context on all sorts of projects. But this is DIY that is doable, and I will save you money, stress, and time doing it.